Hello, everyone. So I promised myself I will not talk about the ABBA and Preach versus Fresh and Fit drama. There are so many YouTube videos on my suggested feed right now talking about all the minor details and all the back and forth and all the strategizing and all the alpha posturing and all the masculinity of that particular conflict. And I definitely have my opinions on the matter, but I don't necessarily want to air those opinions on the internet in the middle of some sort of unfolding internet drama. It's just, I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is I will talk about something that might or might not be relevant. I'm going to talk about spotting a fake alpha. And my first thought was, okay, I need to have this like all in caps, ladies, here's how you spot a fake alpha. Because this is important. This is something that not all women pick up on this. A lot of women do. Not all women do. And the women who don't pick up on this end up falling for these guys who are really sleazy and low quality men that they're losers, and it sucks, and it's bad for the women who fall for it, because it's like, dude, you didn't see the warning signs. There were red flags like everywhere here. And then those women end up in bad situations because they've been dating these men who are not good. But they act like alphas, and they give off the signals for being alphas, so women respond to it. And honestly, that was kind of what I got out of reading Mystery Method. There was a lot of stuff in Mystery Method that was really good advice for men who were not so great about approaching women and talking to women and kind of needed a little bit of help there. If you're not great with women, this really gives you the tips that gets you started. Mystery Method can be good for that. But a lot of Mystery Method is about posturing and posing, and very little of Mystery Method is about being genuine. And women are always hoping that they'll get the genuine alpha. Not the fake alpha, not the posturing alpha, not the superficial chrome-plated shiny alpha, but the genuine, real, solid gold article. That's what women want. Do women find it? Not as often as they'd like. A lot of women out there in the world think they've got it until he shows his true colors, and then they're like, wow, I just didn't see it coming. He told me all the right things. He acted really sweet. Women fall for those guys, and then men in the manosphere complain that women fall for those guys while also trying to learn how to act like those guys. But then as I was thinking about it, I realized that it's not just ladies who probably need to hear that. It's men too. It's manosphere men. Red pill guys, they need to hear that too. They need to hear, because I've looked at so many of these guys so many times, and it's like, okay, this is some big dude in the manosphere. I've had so many guys messaging me telling me this guy inspires them, this guy really motivates them, this guy taught them what it meant to be an alpha. And so I go and I look at the videos by this guy, that guy, this other guy over here, and I watch his videos and I think, wow, this guy's a raging douchebag. What's the appeal? I don't get it. What is this guy giving to his male audience that's inspiring them, motivating them, making them think that this is how to be an alpha? Like, a lot of guys follow these guys. A lot of guys watch these guys. There's got to be something there, right? So what am I missing? And that's what I've been thinking for a long time. That's the way I've been approaching it. I've been trying really hard to be open-minded, and I've watched a lot of these guys. I'm not going to name any names. I will say not ABBA and Preach. So, I mean, Fresh and Fit, but obviously a lot of other content creators that men have come to me and said, this guy really taught me what it means to be an alpha. And I go and I watch this guy, that guy, this other guy's videos, and I think to myself, wow, he's an asshole. What's the appeal? What's this guy really offering here? What gives? And I thought, it must be me. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of guys subscribing to these guys' channels, way more than are watching my channel, I'll say that. What am I missing? What am I not picking up on? Because, I mean, I'm a girl. I'm not always going to pick up on things that dudes pick up on, so what am I missing here? And I think maybe I'm not missing anything. I think my perspective is different, and perhaps the fact that my perspective is different is the reason that I'm not picking up on the messages that a lot of these guys are sending. Pardon me for a second, I gotta readjust here. Ooh. So here's what I notice a lot, and if I'm missing something big, please tell me, let me know, tell me what I'm not seeing. But I see a lot of these guys who are really big in the manosphere, really big in the red pill community. They come on YouTube and they talk about how badass they are, how alpha they are. They come out and they say it's like, I'm an alpha man, I'm a high quality man, and these women, they're not high quality women. Yeah, they're hot, but they're gonna age out and then they're gonna be worn out and used up, and I'm a man who knows how to be alpha, and I'm not falling for their games, and I'm not particularly attached to any of these women because I understand women's game, and I'm gonna be out there playing the field, and even if I find women who love me, I'm still going to be playing. Just all this stuff. They talk a lot. They make a lot of noise. I understand the whole point of being on YouTube videos is to talk, but there's a difference between making a lot of noise and having something to say. And that's why I'm not going to get on Abba and Preach's case too much. I haven't watched many of their videos, but it seems like when they make a video, they actually have something to say. And I don't know if it's just the format of Fresh and Fit's videos, but I never got the feeling that they were saying a heck of a lot that was deeply of substance. And I have not watched many of their videos, so, you know, don't hold me to that. But it's been my impression that they don't have, I mean, they've got all these Instagram and OnlyFans bimbos on who are just kind of blathering, and what are they saying that's of deep substance, really? They're trying to make these women look like fools, which they do very easily because they're a bunch of OnlyFans girls. And then they kind of superimpose that over all women, like, oh, well, these 5 women that we dragged out of some Miami nightclub, these 5 women are stupid, so surely all women are stupid, right? And that doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense to me, but, you know, that's just me. But, I mean, there's a lot more guys than that. There's a lot of guys out there on the internet. I'm an alpha male. I know how to get laid. I know how to get pussy. I know how to play the field. I know all the alpha male stuff. Look at me. I'm earning lots of money, and I'm getting laid, and, you know, there's this song and dance that I hear a lot. And it reminds me of rap songs, you know. I struggle with a lot of, and it's pop rap, so I don't listen to rap. Let me just be clear, I don't listen to rap. I listen to the pop style rap that comes up on the radio, and it's always got the same format. Look at me, look at all my money, look at how badass I am, look at how cool I am, look at how tough I am. And I've never personally been a big fan of bragging or braggarts. And so when I watch it, it's just kind of like, I try not to listen to the lyrics and the pop songs that come on in the radio because half the time it's just unappealing to me. For a little background, I grew up in this small podunk backwater town, and I'd see people who bragging about themselves all the time at the clubs and the bars that I worked in, and talking themselves up and talking about how badass they are and talking about how tough they are and talking about how cool they are. And it's like, you know, you're a drunk loser in a titty bar in the middle of the armpit of the United States. Why do you think anyone is going to believe that you're as impressive as you're saying you are right now? Because anybody who isn't drunk is going to instantly pick up on the fact that you're a drunk loser in a titty bar in the middle of the armpit of the United States. I heard so much of that stuff. Like, I heard people lying their asses off about how tough they were, exaggerating how tough they were, exaggerating how badass they were. And it reminds me of that Game of Thrones quote, "Any man who must say, 'I am the king,' is no true king." Yeah, that quote right there. I don't know if I got it right. I'm going to have it written up here for y'all to see. That quote. Same thing goes for alphaness. If you have to say, "I am alpha," you lost the game. You're already not really a true alpha. I hate to do the no true Scotsman argument because I don't believe in the no true Scotsman argument most of the time. I see guys who are like, well, no true man would do X, Y, and Z. No true man would marry a stripper. Well, what do you call that in the other room over there, huh? Well, he's not a real man. Okay, no true Scotsman. Got it. But at the same time, as a general rule, and being aware that there is an exception to every rule, but as a general rule of thumb, if a dude has to tell you that he's an alpha dude, he is not actually an alpha dude. If a dude has to tell you that he is a high quality dude, he is not actually a high quality dude. So, yeah. These guys running around with so many different guys in the manosphere. With multiple channels, like all the different men's growth and awareness channels, when they come out and they say, "I'm a real alpha male, and I'll teach you how to be an alpha male." Number one, they're selling something. Number two, odds are it's overpriced. Number three, if you have to tell everybody around you that you're an alpha male, odds are you are not a real alpha male. Guys that I have known and I've worked with, I worked in strip clubs. I met all kinds of guys, and there were a lot of guys who came into strip clubs who were, tough military guys. I met a lot of really tough, hardcore military guys, and they were pretty cool. I met some really, really cool guys who, some of them were very, very badass. And they never had to say it. They never had to say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm a total badass." They didn't have to come out and say that. Sometimes you'd be talking with them and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, when I was in the Marines, I traveled over to Germany." It's like, "Oh, okay, you were in the Marines. Got it. What'd you do in the Marines?" "Oh, lists off some badass thing. But anyway, well, when I was in Germany, and you're sitting there thinking, so you did this badass thing when you were in the Marines, and that's just kind of background noise for them. And that's what being alpha is. It's background noise. They don't even notice it. If you go back to the last chapter of Rational Male, I think it was chapter 11 or something, there was a quote in there about displaying higher value, and how the most meaningful and impressive displays of higher value are the ones that the man makes without even realizing it. Oh, it was the chapter on performance. That was it. Might have been chapter 11, might have been chapter 12, but it was the one that was on performance. That's how it works. When you meet a guy, when I met guys who were real, genuine, honest-to-goodness badasses, and I've met some female badasses too, they do not need to advertise. It's one of those things where it's so much a part of who they are, they're not paying attention to it. It's just ingrained in who they are. It's just part of their life. It's the background noise of their life. And so it's like, "Oh yeah, I used to jump out of planes for the military. It was kind of fun. I thought it sounded cool, so I went out and did that." I met guys who've said things to me like that. I was talking with my husband about it. It was like, true badass dudes don't have to announce themselves. And he was like, I was just chatting with him about it, and he's like, "I can't remember. Was I bragging about myself when you met me?" I was like, "No." No, you were telling me stories about your life, and they were fun stories, and they were exciting stories, and they were interesting stories, but they weren't necessarily bragging kinds of stories. You were just telling me stories about your life. And that's the thing. Like, real badasses simply do not need to advertise. The less a guy advertises how tough he is, the tougher the guy is. Most of the time. Most of the time. And you can kind of tell. You can tell just instinctively the difference when you meet a person. You know, the guy who's really scrawny, puny, wimpy, and submissive, he's not bragging about being a badass because he probably isn't a badass. The guy who's a genuine badass, he looks sharp, he looks aware, there's a certain confidence to him. It's a very, very subtle thing. Women do pick up on this, and he doesn't need to tell you anything. He does not need to announce that he's a genuine alpha. He does not need to announce that he's a high quality man. He doesn't need to tell anybody these things. We all know. This is the background noise of this guy's life. And so, when you are watching podcasts or YouTube videos by various manosphere gurus, or men in the manosphere that you find yourself liking or find yourself drawn to, always bear in the back of your minds, is this guy genuinely teaching me something? Because if he's teaching you something, if you feel like you're learning something of value, well, maybe it's worth listening to him, even if he isn't as badass as he likes to say he is. But also, do I think this guy's a badass because he's a badass, or do I think this guy's a badass because he says he is? Because he tells me he is? It's the same thing with... I see a lot of people who are very cynical about the news these days, and it's always the same thing. The news tells you, depending on what kind of news you're listening to, because there's multiple different news outlets out there in the world, the right-wing news, the left-wing news. I don't know if there's any centrist news out there anymore, but... you know, it's always the same thing. The thing that I don't trust about a lot of different news sources is they tell you how to feel about a thing instead of just giving you the bare bones facts about a thing and letting you draw your own conclusions. You should feel this. You should feel that. If I should feel that you're an alpha and you have to tell me that, that's not a conclusion that I'm drawing on my own, and I am immediately suspicious of this. You guys should be too. Anytime you see some guy in the manosphere talking about how he's got it all down, he has all the answers, he's a real alpha, you know, be cautious. Take it with a grain of salt. The real kings don't need to tell you they're kings. They're just kings. So anyway, that's it for tonight, I think. My arm is falling asleep. I'm holding a very, very fast sleep baby. Like, he is out for the night. I don't know how long he's going to stay asleep, but the rule they generally tell you is sleep while the baby is sleeping, because when he wakes up at 2 a.m. in the morning, you need to wake up too. So I'm going to call it a night, and I'll talk to you guys later.